Hello, this is DC Hammer. While watching Mad Maxine Waters deliver one of her hate-filled, acidic, violence-provoking tirades a while back, I pondered to myself, for those who do not believe that the devil exists, if you were to be rational and completely nonpartisan, so obviously I'm not talking to a member of the left, particularly a member of the supporting group for Maxine Waters, but if the devil did exist, and if it had control over Mad Maxine, how would her words and deeds be any different than what you are seeing right now? If Mad Maxine were possessed by a demon, aren't you seeing exactly what you would expect? Doesn't Mad World News capture her persona perfectly? So Larry Tomczak, in The Devil is Using the Democrat Party to Destroy America, posted on WorldNet Daily, presents 21 policy positions he says the Dems are using that would destroy America. And since this nation was based upon biblical precepts, that would destroy the one nation that best implemented God's will for governance. As the Bible warns us to be sober and watchful, because your adversary the devil walks around as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Tomczak has first-hand experience with demonic encounters, having lived in Washington, D.C. for over 2 decades, and working in proximity of the White House during that period. He led others in prayer to stand against the schemes of the devil, for our fight is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, and against spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places, per Ephesians 6:11 through 12. Based upon recent events, Tomczak and an increasing number of Americans believe the devil is using the Democrat Party to try to destroy America. If we don't wake up and take action to protect our Constitution, Bill of Rights, and other freedoms, we will perish. So beam over to the left coast, and Hollywood is a festering cauldron of demonic influence. Take, for example, Democrat activist stepson of feminist Gloria Steinem and portrayer of the Black Knight. That would be actor Christian Bale, who thanked Satan for helping him win his Golden Globe Award for his role in Vice, a hit piece on Vice President Dick Cheney, that although Cheney may himself be evil, relying upon the devil for inspiration, even when shining a light on darkness, is actually like shining darkness on darkness. Bale kind of looks exactly as the Bible describes Satan, does he not? Or was the Black Knight just taking a page from C.S. Lewis's classic Screwtape Letters, in which demon-inspired Wormwood also thanked satanic influences to learn how to deceive people? For the devil's diabolical advice, as portrayed by Lewis, is the safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts. Aren't we seeing that today in play in Hollywood, Washington, D.C., and every other bastion of Democrat power? Thanks to lifelong followers of the Democrat Party, having been red-pilled recently, like Brandon Straka, who started the Walk Away movement, there is an increased awakening in America to the evils of the Democrats, but those who stay committed to its tactics and teachings are just doubling down. How can these God-haters believe man is basically good, but using Marxist tactics of wealth distribution, repression of religion, and progressive education, somehow they believe they will achieve nirvana? As off-the-grid news details, the early history of our nation revealed socialism just begets slackers who then become parasites on others. But since the facts of history have been replaced in school by material Joseph Goebbels would find hard to peddle, the irrefutable fact is that government-provided handouts promote laziness and envy. Hard work and freedom results in productivity and success. But don't whisper that to Bernie or Pocahontas, since our schools stopped teaching the lessons of the past. They are doing their damnedest to have us live those failures out all over again. Yet the Democrat Party's socialist fantasies are alive and well among many, especially millennials, and will only increase with the misteaching of the oncoming Generation Bling. But they won't let a lack of education stop them from repeating the mistakes of the past. The siren song of unrealistic promises, money growing on trees, and false promises deluded or merely self-absorbed evil politicians blast from the podiums of power and the news stations of the Marxist screaming media. Here are but a few of the false promises we hear today. Full unemployment provided by the government, protection against being fired even for cause, free quote-unquote health care as in someone else pays for it, a full ride from day one to graduation from a government school with a diploma in topics such as lesbian dance, cheap housing below the cost the property owner bears, or perhaps the Venezuela model under which all property is confiscated, exploited, and rendered to dust. Of course, in some miraculous fashion, at the same time these promise makers will solve all climate problems, quote unquote, and ensure equality of outcomes for all. Of course, unless you are Al Gore, or one of his rabid followers, even a cursory exploration of climate science would put you into the ranks of the thousands of ignored scientists who continue to reveal that quote-unquote global warming, aka climate change, is just a con game and intellectual absurdity. Do the math. The big shiny thing in the sky is the primary determiner of climate here on Earth. Isn't it interesting that the left, so often entranced by shiny objects, seem to be blind to the shiniest object of them all? And as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez rises as the Democrats' new star and symbol of undemocratic socialism, is on the full display daily, spouting narratives from which even Karl Marx would shy away. She continues to spew fake statistics and tries to connect dots that just cannot be connected. Her unique ability to not understand concepts most 5-year-olds would easily understand is staggering. I believe her first congressional delegation outing, once the government is fully funded again, should be to Venezuela, where she can talk to people in the street and ask them their views on socialism. If any of those starving skeletons have the strength to talk, or if they just lick their chops and dream of Cortez burgers. Of course, the communist mayor of New York City is rolling out plans similar to communist governor of California, Gavin Newsom, in a competition to see which demon cat politician will be the first to drag an entire population area into the pit, along with the illegal immigrants and other criminals they so admire and protect. And just to make sure the indigenous population of the United States is quickly replaced by newcomers, Hillary Clinton is doubling down on American eugenics by proposing the quote-unquote Reproductive Health Act, codifying abortion up to the time of birth, a program of Barack Hussein Obama fully supported as senator in Illinois. But since when is killing a human being healthy or reproductive? Isn't it unproductive? Anyway, per Ballotpedia, the panoply of Democrat 2020 presidential hopefuls runs the gamut from the usual suspects to those suspected to be ready for the funny farm. As Dinesh D'Souza's documentary, Death of a Nation, properly reports, the history of the Demon Cat Party is the party of slavery, secession, and segregation. People are being red-pilled, however, but an alarming number have embraced leftist extremism, socialism, and godless secularism. And don't forget House Speaker Nancy the Gavel Pelosi, freshly back from her bus trip to the airport, who is apparently ready to cut her burgeoning bank account, if you believe her words, into pieces to distribute to the less fortunate, and is ready to ride her broom to work to save the environment. So here are the top 21 Demon Cat Party positions: radical distribution of wealth, aggressive climate change initiatives, a complete takeover of the healthcare industry by federal government, plus including illegal aliens into the mix, an open immigration policy, accepting of all sanctuary city policies, government control over profits, progressive tax on the upper middle class and above, legalization of recreational marijuana, implementation of the sex-confused agenda, taxpayer-financed abortion on demand, until birth, with full funding of Planned Parenthood, of course, major defense spending cuts, of course that'll make us more safe, comprehensive gun control, as in destruction of the Second Amendment, liberal judges because we don't have enough of them already, alignment and support of the radical feminist agenda, increased sponsorship of hateful conservative thought on social media, liberalized voting standards because they're not liberal enough right now, allowing millions of non-voters to vote and allowing millions of voters to vote multiple times. A partnership with Palestinians, which means an abandonment of Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East. Alignment with the United Nations and European Union on One World Order initiatives. Euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide. Taxpayer-funded childcare and college tuition. Elimination of electoral college, making sure that the newcomers that are brought in through these quote-unquote caravans immediately displace legal American voters, and with the transition to the popular vote and ignoring what the founders set up as a buffer against the exact loading of the ballot boxes that we see in California, New York, and other left-wing bastions today, and reestablishing that no deal, non-deal Iranian nuclear deal, and increased Islamic rights. I guess that means decreased rights of all other religions? Yes, this is a wake-up call for a spiritual awakening. Our representative republic is perched on the tip of the Washington Monument, swinging in the breeze, ready to lurch to the left and fall to the ground and shatter into 1,000 pieces. The demon cats are radical, hostile to this country and biblical values and religious freedoms, disrespectful to individuals and our institutions, unashamedly profane, irrational, lawless, dishonest, hypocritical, corrupt, mean-spirited, and dedicated to ending the sanctity of human life and marriage between one man and one woman, come hell or high water. Yes, I was a Boy Scout when we meant boys, and we were dedicated to do our duty to God and country, and to be courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. By the way, I was just now able to recite that list from memory over 50 years since I raised my right hand to do so the last time. God bless you all. And pray for a spiritual and political awakening in this country. Amen.